Hello. Sometimes we have to deal or manage the object types in our testing activities. For example, whenever we are trying to send some requests to our API endpoints, or even whenever we have the responses, we have to parse the response, right? Because sometimes it's a structured object. We have to see the fields or the properties of the main object, and we have to access different fields. And that's not only the case. Of course, we can manage different data types, which are basically not the primitive ones, but the structured object types. They can be arrays, list, or any other objects, which are basically the iterable data types. So in these cases, let's see how we can manage these kind of objects, and how can we parse them, how can we access to different properties, and basically how we can manage. And let's have a little demo about this. So I'll start by having a variable here. Let me just define. As in general, I'm using a car type object. Let's define a my car object here. It will have different fields like the name. It will even have a name. This can be a string. And the car may have age, right? And it can be a number. Like, let's say it is 3 years old already. And let's have a dealer as well. This can be even another object, like, right? So let's inside assign its name. We didn't set the name, so this is my cute car. Cool, I think I'm ready. So let's try to use it. So first of all, I will try to access to the name of my car. Let's see how we can do that. Name of my car. So what I'll do is here, I will use the dot notation. So after using the object itself, whenever I type dot, I can already see all the fields or the properties that I can access. So this time I will use name. And let's use just this second one as well, which is age. Age of my car. This time, instead of dot notation, I will use the bracket notation. And inside, I will specify the field or the property that I want to access. So this time it will be the age field. So let's just print them on the console to see how they look like. And this will be the age of my car. Let's just run this test. Okay, those both are here on my screen. So what I can do, before moving forward, what is the difference between these two notations? I can use both dot notation and the bracket notation. So if I want to specify the property that I want to access dynamically, like the field that I want to access would depend on the situation, then I can use the bracket notation, right? Because, for example, let's define another variable here, like the property that I want to access would be assigned dynamically, like for the moment just set it to age, but this assignment can be changed later on. So in this case, if I want to set it dynamically, I can set it or pass into the bracket notation. Let's see if it is still working. Yes, they are both here. So let's move on. What I can do next is, like sometimes, oh, by the way, I have a typo here. So sometimes there might be some optional fields inside the object, right? For example, the dealer information, I'm not sure if it will be coming from the response or not, coming from the server or not. So let's see how I can manage this kind of situation. For example, if I want to print my car, I already know that I have dealer information here. So for now, let's use dealer 2. I know that does not exist. So in this case, what will I have now? Of course, the test fails, right? So how can I manage this kind of situation if I'm not sure if this will be coming from the server, if this will be responded from by the server? Then I can use just an optional chaining operator, which is just a question mark here. So in this case, I'm declaring that I'm not sure it might come or not. So if it is not, then the rest is managed properly and just printed as undefined, which is as expected, and the test does not fail at this point. This is the optional chaining. After the dot notation and bracket notation, the last thing that I want to show is this time we are doing these assignments one by one, right? So what I can do next is I can do all these assignments at once, like this. For example, let me create another variable here. So this will be just the fields of my object. So what do I have inside my object? I have the name, right? So this name field I will set to what shall we say, like my custom name. Okay, what else? I have the age, right? So let's assign this to my custom age. And finally, the dealer. In this way, instead of doing 3 separate assignments, I can have only once. And let's see if they are still working. So this is basically called destructuring. Destructing, which was one new feature released by MKScript version 6. And let's see, they're still working properly. Let's just add some separators and my custom H. Okay. Yes, I can see all the values here. So these are the 3 basic operations or the features that we can use while we are trying to manage the object type data or the variables in our testing activities.